Cadillac has refreshed the Escalade for 2025, but how does it stack up with other Chevy body-on-frame SUVs that I've driven this year? Like the Suburban, like the Yukon. Is it worth spending $134,000 on this Cadillac Escalade with the VIP Executive Lounge package compared to your run-of-the-mill Tahoe or the Suburban? Today we're going to tackle that with this extensive review. Make sure to stay to the end because we're going to look for deals on the Escalade in my area. And then after that, we're also going to put on the spreadsheet to see if this is even worth a buy. And we're going to compare it to all the cars I've driven and tested and reviewed so far in 2025. Let's get into it. The engine's running, you might be able to hear it. I love leaving a V8 running. 6.2 liter, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, made it to a very snappy and smooth 10-speed automatic. Of course, this is 4x4. Rear-wheel drive, of course, is the standard setting, but you can put it into 4 high and 4 low, for example. This also has about 17 miles per gallon, is what I'm seeing in my combined driving. Now, also for 2025, this may be very sad. The diesel option, the inline-6 diesel is gone, but I believe you can still get it on the Suburban, for example. So don't worry too much. If you need the diesel, you can still get it in this body-on-frame Chevy lineup. Now, there is the V, and I have reviewed the V about a year and a half ago. That was one of the most special vehicles I've ever driven, the Escalade V with the supercharged 6.2 liter, it was like almost 700 horsepower. Blazing fast, sounded amazing, handled quite well. It felt like I was in Need for Speed. This, however, takes a more laid-back luxury approach, but when you're spending $134,000, should you just get the Escalade V and call it a day? I'll answer that at the end. Now, the Escalade has had a refresh, so what does that mean? Well, actually, this Cadillac logo is illuminated. I didn't catch that the first time. We have a more widened appeal here. This looks very similar to the IQ variant, the fully electric variant of the Escalade, which pretty much shares nothing with this vehicle, but it's still called an Escalade. Very prominent daytime running lights, which also turn into your turn signals. Love all these. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 individual beams on each side for your nighttime lights. That's just so cool. In pictures, the front end of this sport luxury package, it doesn't do it justice. I think this truck looks a lot better in person than it does in pictures. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the pre-refresh better? I'll put it on the screen for you, and you guys will tell me down below what you think looks best. Now, for the trained eyes out there, you might be able to see that this Escalade is not the extended ESV version with the big old wheelbase, the extra cargo in the back, like the Suburban I drove earlier this year. This is the standard wheelbase. I do have pop-out running boards here, pretty nice. All of these doors are soft closing, and I can open them from the inside with the flick of a touchscreen, not a switch, touchscreen. This is new for Escalade, 24-inch wheels, but you can get 24-inch wheels on the Suburban as well. So, you know, you're just getting the center cap here that says Cadillac in a unique design, but it's not like the sizes are exclusive. But from the side, it doesn't look that fancy to me. What do you guys think? That Escalade badge, or should I say the Cadillac badge up there, is nice, but otherwise it very much looks like a Tahoe from the side. Love the rumble of this V8. I'll let you guys listen to it through the mic. That could be like my go to sleep music. I don't know if my wife would like that, but I would. Escalade badge here, the 600. Again, other than the V, I don't know if that means anything anymore. Because it's the only powertrain that I'm aware of on the Escalade. Blacked out features here, and this is how you really tell it apart from a Tahoe or a Yukon. It are these really encompassing D-pillar taillights. Kind of Volvo-esque, but yeah, it looks great. They look amazing for 2025. You press the big Cadillac logo and we get, I did not get hit, that was awfully close. A mild amount of storage back here. If you need more storage, you're gonna have to go for, obviously, the ESV. There is a spare tire underneath, a tiny bit of storage underneath. I can fold these seats down with 2 switches back here. There's also a plug-in for household items. It is all felt lined or a nice carpet anyways, not quite felt, but the ceiling is felt lined throughout the Escalade and it's really nice. This lift gate, as long as you're shorter than 6'2", you're gonna be able to fit underneath. All right, love the running boards here and the handle, which has nice stitching on it. This executive package has massaging seats back here. I could close the door. Actually, I could open this door from back here. I didn't know I could do that till just right now. That's pretty neat. That means I could also close the door, but I would smack the camera on that side. Massaging seat, I can turn on with the circular button here, which is great, but I can also play with it with the touchscreen here as well. USB-C's back here, a couple of phone chargers, decent legroom, and that's the thing, like, this is an executive package. I don't have an ottoman because there's nowhere for it to go. My legroom, I'm all the way back. It's not that great. I can lean back quite a bit, but that's assuming you don't have anyone back there, right? But that's not, I feel like that's not that special to this vehicle. These seats essentially are a copy and pasted of these seats up there. I have speakers in the headrest. The AKG sound system is phenomenal in here. I'd say that's one of the reasons you could go for an Escalade over its lesser siblings, even those do have good Bose sound systems, but this AKG is on another level. So I can watch YouTube. I could watch my Escalade V video. Let's see if I can pull it up. I can't spell Escalade V, but it auto-corrected for me. So I'll just go ahead and play that because I don't have to worry about copyright. You still get ads on the YouTube here, but it loads real quick. I'm actually pretty happy here. Ooh, that's when I did really fancy B-roll. Not anymore. You know, maybe you can see the Escalade V's engine. Oh, just so good. 682 horsepower, 653 pound-feet of torque. Oh, now in the back seat, and I can't get it in the back seat, guys. It's not easy to manipulate this seat here. I would have to climb through here, which my kids do. I'm too big for it. I could do it, but I don't want to. And so in the back seat, there are USB-Cs, there are vents on the ceiling, there are cup holders. It's actually really nice and accommodating for my kids back there. Just don't get this package, this executive package. It makes for getting into the back seat exceptionally hard for children. Well, let's go and pause here. It looks like I needed to tan my leg, so I don't want to see that anymore. You can see on the other side here, Abe has been fitting in this seat, not this one, but this one. The kids have been using this, the older kids have been using the booster seat. There's just enough room, I would say, for a rear-facing seat in here with these sort of screens built in. It's not ideal, but it works. And if you're buying this for little kids, there are just better options out there, like a Suburban, and you'd save money, or the ID Buzz, which is not a perfect vehicle, but it is a little bit better for kids than something like this. So let's get in the front seat. Inside the Escalade for 2025, the biggest thing you're gonna notice is all of this. It's not like the Escalade in 2024 was lacking of screen space. Now you just have it from end to end. Something that I feel like Lincoln has been doing too. So 55 inches of addressable screen space. What do I think about it? I think it's over the top. You know, if you want all this screen, this is why you buy an Escalade and not, I mean, the Yukon had the Yukon Denali had a screen about this big. Not quite as much screen space, but yeah, it was still massive. And the Suburban, to me, was the most ideal setup. Not too much screen space, just enough, and I wasn't, you know, looking all the way. For example, if I put on my blinker here, it's not coming up, I'll have to do it while I'm driving. Once you put this into drive and you have YouTube playing, I can't see that. My wife can see that over there in the passenger seat. I can't see it, it blacks it out for me. So that screen is just for the front passenger. This, well, it has Google built in. You can see I'm getting 16. I was getting about 17 miles per gallon before idling. I can pull up my camera through the touchscreen. I do have a camera touchscreen button here, a little shortcut, which is nice. I like the 360 camera in here. It's quite good. Massaging seats, only massage my back instead of my bottom. So I wish we had better massaging seats in here. They don't go high enough on my back, and they don't cover my bum at all. But you have 4 massaging seats in here, which is crazy. Obviously the second row has them too. Super Cruise is standard. The hardware is standard, but you're still gonna have to pay after the trial period of Super Cruise runs up if you want to use that. Essentially interstate only autonomous driving is essentially what it is. I don't have buttons on the steering wheel anymore. They're all like touch capacitive. They give me a kind of a clicky click. I guess it's okay, but you know, real buttons are always better. I do have real switches. I can put it into low mode, like a towing mode here with this button. It's just weird that it's on the steering wheel because it's not on this stock. This stock's really flimsy and cheap feeling. And yeah, it just feels like it's gonna bust off. That's not something I would expect in a $130,000 Escalade. All right, but the screens are great. Who doesn't love a nice OLED screen? So you can have this gauge here. You can put up Google Maps. It'll take up pretty much this whole area. You also have night vision, which is pretty neat. You have augmented reality camera, as you can see, as it mimics. So it's just a front camera here, except when you're driving, it's really distracting, really distracting. So I guess you would only use this maybe if you have the sun visor on, you're just chilling in here so you can creep out what's going on in front of the vehicle while the sun visor's up. Not quite sure. I just leave it on the gauge. If I was on a trip, maybe I'll put it on Google Maps. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, I have my 4i, 4 low. I also have my ride height control with the air ride suspension, adaptive dampers, all that fancy stuff. I have this rotary dial down here, which doesn't work really well with Android Auto, but it does work quite well with the built-in software, as you can see. I have a tiny volume knob here. It's so cute. It feels really cheap though. It feels like it's gonna fall off. And lots of glossy black plastic down here on this screen too. But the climate control is kind of, you can always have it up down here. It's quite nice. And then I can control, like, I don't mind this little screen down here. All right. It's just funny, I have all this screen and most of the time you're interacting with the little screen. Okay, I have an issue with this blind spot view monitor. I typically see these in Hyundai products or Kia products, Genesis, whatever, same family. It's fine for having the right blind spot view monitor here, but if I turn the left, it's in the same spot. And so why would I be looking right when my left indicator's on? I'll just look at my mirror or the blind spot monitor in that mirror. It's just really bizarre. And the previous model year Cadillac had like another screen over here, and that would have been a great place for a blind spot view monitor. I kind of stumbled out of the blocks there since I didn't torque brake it, but that's a real life 0 to 60. There we go, 7.58, 0 to 60, and I didn't hard launch it. Lots of American muscle under the hood. I love it. It's loud as heck. It's not luxury. This V8 is luxury, but they didn't do any, it's like they tried to enhance the sound in this vehicle with the V8. The V8 is seemingly louder than it was in the Suburban that I drove. Like, mild press, transmission's amazing. Love this 10-speed auto, quick to downshift, grab and go, and just so smooth. Love this 10-speed auto. Even in like the V, the Escalade V, you also have it. I mean, so many Cadillac and GMC products. So the engine and transmission, essentially for me, get a 10 out of 10. Like, I just love the big V8. Fuel economy is not going to be great, but that's okay. You're spending $130,000 on this particular one. You're going to be able to afford the gas. It's not a big deal. Comfort in here, well, the massaging seats help. These seats are okay. I would say that they're not the world's greatest seats. They don't have the bottom cushion massager up here either. The steering wheel feels good in my hands. Again, wish I had better buttons here, and I do have. They feel cold, but I don't know if it's just the vents cooling them down. I don't know if these are metallic paddle shifters. They feel like plastic, but they're cold, so maybe, I don't know. They're not that high quality of paddle shifters either, but they do feel better than the GV80 from Genesis. Those paddle shifters are a joke. Love the wood up here. Everything is a little bit too glossy for me. And again, I could deal with about 30 less inches of screen space here, maybe even more, because you have this thing down here, and I'd rather just have real buttons. All right, so where do I grade the Escalade? All right, this vehicle seems quite compromised with its controls, quite compromised in its rear seat space and functionality back there, and the pursuit of adding just more screens and more massaging seats. So, all right, let's head in the office. Let's see where I grade this very expensive Escalade. And maybe you should just get an Escalade V once you're this expensive. Looking at Escalade Sport Platinums in my area, there's actually more Sport Platinum Escalades than any other price point, or should I say any other trim level. 66 of these compared to everything else is just much lower volume. Curious on the V series because this is the vehicle. Oh my gosh, 200K, 164K. Someone's just price gouging here. Seemingly there's no deals to be had on the Sport Platinum. And if I'm spending 121, or in this case with the executive package, $134,000, I mean, what's another 60 grand at that point to get yourself an Escalade V, which is so incredible. Such an amazing vehicle. It is so unique, is what the Escalade actually should be, I think, more times than not. The Escalade V is just a home run. At $120,000 to $134,000 for the Sport Platinum, guys, I would be happy with the Tahoe. You can get the Tahoe with the 6.2 liter if you want all that brawn and muscle. You can still get it here. You can get almost the same amount of luxury. You can get air ride suspension, like a high country here. Save yourself 20, 30 grand and get yourself a Chevy. It doesn't have the badge, but I'm telling you, you're not really losing anything. In fact, you're gaining physical climate controls. Let me show you. You got at least some knobs for turning up and turning down the heat, and some fan control switches here too. So it's just, look at all this. This is juicy. This is great. This is what it should be. Actual physical buttons on the steering wheel as well. It's just a much easier, and you look at that big volume knob instead of the dinky one you have in the Escalade. It's just a much more pleasing and usable experience compared to the Escalade. All right. How would I compare it to the Infiniti QX80? I haven't driven it this year, but I have driven its little brother, or you could say younger brother, the Armada. I would take an Infiniti QX80 over this Escalade, how it's equipped. It just depends. Do you want that V8? I think this QX80 looks better than the Escalade from the side, from the front, especially on the inside. I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute since I've been in a QX80. Yeah, they do a lot of touchscreen too here, unfortunately. But I do think the interior materials are nicer overall than the Escalade, and the steering wheel looks a lot nicer than the Escalade. The Armada, I would absolutely pick this over an Escalade, full-size SUV. I know it's not a luxury badge, but I'm telling you, if you get a Pro 4X or a Platinum, guys, 74 grand, there's discounts to be had on here. It looks better than an Escalade. Again, that's subjective, but many of you would probably agree. And then I just look at all these physical switches and buttons in here for your ventilated seats and stuff like that. This is just fantastic. And yes, the steering wheel, it's not perfect with kind of similar touch capacitive stuff that the Escalade has, but it's easier to use overall. And I think the Armada is every bit as fast as an Escalade is with the twin turbo V6 here. So big fan of the Armada. It's way less expensive. I would pick an Escalade over something like a Sequoia, but what about a Lexus LX? I haven't pulled that up. Lexus LX 700H is the only LX I recommend. They nailed the powertrain. This is the Overtrail. I do think the Overtrail is fantastic. I would take this over an Escalade. The Escalade has a little bit better cargo, but the usability on the inside is actually better on an LX than it was on the Escalade with the executive package. So remember, the LX also comes with an executive package that probably only built to order, and those have ottomans. It has no third row of seats though, so that's the compromise. But I remember it being about the same price, maybe a little bit less compared to the Escalade. So I'll pick an LX hybrid over the new Escalade, unless you need like an ESV, and I totally get it. If you need the extra space, I totally get it. The LX cannot match it there. Same thing with the Armada / QX80. All right, so where does it fall? I'm just going to be simple. I think the Escalade is just a solid buy. It's a nice luxury big SUV. There are others I would take a Nissan Armada over it. Let that sink in. I would take a Suburban or a Tahoe over it and save a lot of money. It doesn't feel that special. It looks better than the Chevy or GMC counterparts, in my opinion, but it just feels so similar to the Suburban I drove, but the Suburban had a better user experience with easier controls for the driver, the passenger, okay? And I feel like the ride quality was every bit as good, if not better, in the Suburban. And sound deadening was about the same between them too. So yeah, Escalade, very good vehicle. It's a solid buy. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want an Escalade,
go get it. I don't think you'd be disappointed. So where am I going to put it? I would put it under, I had more fun in the GMC Yukon. That cost about 30 grand less. And the AT4 it looked pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I would just take it. I would take the Yukon over the Escalade. But that's just me. The Escalade, it's very nichey. Who's the Escalade for that the Tahoe or a Yukon doesn't meet those needs, right? It takes a special type of person to drive an Escalade, in my opinion. And if that's you, that's great. For me, there's a lot of other vehicles. I'm happy to lose that Cadillac badge because the Chevy's better. The Chevy is better overall. The Tahoe's better, in my opinion, from a user experience. All right, Armada is much better. QX80 is better overall than the Escalade. So it's interesting. A few years ago when I drove the Escalade, it had much better user interface. Yeah, check this out. Let me pull up this image. I had no problem. This screen setup was fine. Look, I had wood right here and then some leather around the shifter. Let me open up this image bigger. All this seemed a lot nicer on the previous Escalade. And look, I had real physical climate control switches at least. This is the biggest screen as I need. This was perfect behind the steering wheel. I like this little trip counter on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. Now they moved it to the right-hand side and they added all the screens. The old Escalade was better. And that's why I'm upset. The old Escalade was great. It was probably what I would call A tier, but they've taken steps back here unnecessarily. And now the new Tahoe is essentially what the old Escalade used to be. And it's a lot cheaper. It's somewhere in the B category here. I would not get the executive package. It's better done in other vehicles like the Lexus LX. And yeah, I'm going to end it there. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Escalade. It's a pop culture icon, or especially was when I was in high school and things like that. Now there's just a lot of other things I would take, absolutely, including a Chevy over an Escalade. If you said you can have for free a Suburban or an Escalade ESV, I'd be like, oh, I'll take the Suburban. That's how good the Suburban is, and the Escalade doesn't. It actually provides a worse experience. All right, that's why an Escalade is a B tier vehicle, in my opinion, while the Suburban is an S tier. It was incredible. I love the Suburban. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for more. Peace.